The afternoon carried a kind of quiet that only appears when the world slows down for a breath. Sunlight rested on the pavement, soft and golden as if it had nowhere else to be. The bell above the bakery door hung still, waiting. Inside, the air was warm, thick with the smell of bread just pulled from the oven. For a moment, everything felt safe, untouched, whole. Then the door opened. She paused at the entrance as if crossing an invisible line took more strength than she had left. Her shoes were worn thin, dust clung to the hem of her dress. One hand tightened around the small fingers of the child beside her. The little girl stayed close not out of fear but out of habit. Her eyes moved quietly, taking in the shelves, the colors, the light. She didn't smile, she didn't ask, she only looked. The woman stepped forward, slowly. Every movement felt measured, careful, as though the wrong sound might shatter something fragile inside her. The floor was clean enough to reflect the sunlight, and she noticed it only because she felt she didn't belong on it. She kept her head down. Pride can survive many things, but hunger makes it heavy. The bakery wasn't busy. A few customers stood near the counter, their voices low, casual. Behind the glass, cakes waited like they were meant for celebrations, frosting smooth and untouched, fruit placed perfectly as if no one had ever hesitated to choose them. The woman swallowed. Her daughter's grip tightened for just a second. When she finally spoke, her voice barely reached the counter. She asked if there was anything left from yesterday, anything that couldn't be sold, something meant to be thrown away. The room changed without making a sound. The employees exchanged glances, not unkind ones, just unsure. Rules lived in places like this even when hearts didn't agree with them. Silence stretched. The woman nodded before anyone could answer, as if she already understood. Her shoulders sagged, but she didn't turn away, not yet. Near the window, a man watched. He had been sitting alone, hands wrapped around a cup that had long gone cold. He wasn't dressed to impress, just a simple jacket, clean shoes, nothing that asked for attention. He had chosen this bakery because it was quiet, because no one here expected anything from him. In a life filled with meetings and decisions, this place asked nothing at all. Until now. He noticed the child first, the way she stood without fidgeting, the way she stared at the cake but never pointed. He had seen that kind of restraint before, years ago, in another lifetime. The memory rose before he could stop it. He listened as the woman explained, not with excuses but with honesty. One day without food, a shared apple, a voice trying very hard not to break. Something shifted inside him, not loudly, not suddenly, just enough to hurt. He stood. The sound of his chair against the floor made everyone look up. He walked to the counter without urgency, without purpose that could be questioned. When he spoke, it was calm, almost ordinary. He asked for the cake near the corner, the one with strawberries, then another, and bread, and warm meals, enough that the bags grew heavy. The employees moved quickly now, relieved, grateful for direction. The woman stared, unsure if she should stop him, thank him, or disappear. When he turned to her, she prepared herself for words that often followed kindness, advice, judgment, questions. None came. He nodded once and stepped back, giving her space as if the moment belonged to her alone. The cashier gently placed the bags into her hands. They were warm, real, too much. Her breath caught. She tried to speak, but the sound stayed in her chest. Tears came instead, quiet and unashamed, not the kind meant to be seen, but the kind that had waited too long. Her daughter's face changed then, not excitement, relief, the kind that settles deep where fear used to live. No one clapped, no one spoke. The man turned toward the door. Just before he reached it, the woman found her voice. It wasn't loud, it wasn't polished, just one word carried on gratitude she didn't know how to measure. He paused, looked back, and for the first time in years his smile didn't hurt. Outside, the light felt different, kinder. He walked away without looking back, knowing something inside him had finally moved. On the bench near the window, the woman and her daughter shared the cake with careful hands. Small bites, slow joy, as if savoring more than just food. They were seen, that was enough. Sometimes lives don't change with noise or promises. Sometimes they change with a quiet decision made by someone who chose to notice. If this story stayed with you, take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more stories told gently, honestly, and from the heart. And in the comments, leave one word that this story gave you.